Hey guys, VGamerS and RV here, back with another video, and today I'm back with some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. There we go. We're back with some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we finished our final day of investigation for Turnabout Samurai. We discovered that Miss D. Vasquez, the producer of Steel Samurai, had some dirt over Jack Hammer from an incident 5 years ago where he accidentally / possibly purposefully murdered a co-star of his. And that was quickly swept under the dirt, and D. Vasquez has been using that as blackmail over Jack Hammer for the past 5 years. That was a rather big discovery to make yesterday, but that was what we discovered. And now we're back in the courtroom for the last day of trial. The verdict needs to be given today. If the verdict has the verdict has to be given today. This is our last chance to prove that Mr. Powers is not guilty. Both the prosecution and defense are ready. Let's get right into this. As I just said, today is the final day of the trial. I hope both the prosecution and the defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was, in fact, Studio 2. Today, I will call on people present in Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today. Ironic, You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. Ms. D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Wait, but you introduce your witnesses and then you ask them for your name and occupation. Which, I get that you have to do that for the record. Like, for the court record. But, you know, it's kind of redundant, don't you think? Anyways, D. Vasquez, a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes? I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Edgeworth does not have good luck with his witnesses, man. Oof. Very well, Ms. Vasquez. Please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder.
Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay.
Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Yeah, Nick, you really gotta figure out some different analogies to use there, huh? I entered the studio, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 o'clock sharp. It ended at 4 o'clock. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so I went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break at the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you? The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk with that monkey's head toppling over. Good to know, Vasquez, good to know. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Let's see. There's something about the steak that I need to... There's something about the steaks that I needed to present or press or something. Just don't recall exactly what. I just remember there's something about the steaks. Objection! Ha! As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. It's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you that it was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Ms. Vasquez and Mr. Manella ate at a table outside the trailer. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Miss Vasquez, tell me, how could a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. You ate the bone too? You ate a boneless steak, or you didn't eat the steak? You didn't eat the steak. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like that incinerator. Oh yeah, there's an incinerator there. I forgot about that. I never examined that. I should have examined that. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break? Is it obvious, Your Honor? Meeting the Steel Samurai or picking on salmonella? Meeting the Steel Samurai. She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order? Are you saying? Yes, Your Honor. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. Then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well. Let's have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was the murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes. I am, as you could see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? I think you could. You couldn't, could you? Or I don't know. You couldn't, could you? I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Ha! You see? Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as a murder weapon. Are we presenting the photo or the spear? Do we present the photo or the spear? Spear? Spear. The murder weapon, a break has a shaft, has been mended with. I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that this spear broke during the morning action scene run-through? But someone fixed the spear. It was a security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who's wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? He's got a point. You can't go through the chest with a spear that's been duct taped together. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence! I'm the one testifying here and I will be heard. Oh, poor Edgeworth. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell what was. How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what weapon was used to kill Mr. Hammer? I can tell you! Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see this murder weapon then. Where's that photo? 5-year-old photo! Let's go! 5-year-old photo! Look at this photo. What is this? Why, that's Jack Hammer standing at the top of the stairs. Order! Order! If I cannot have order, this trial will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Has happened again! I love this music whenever this starts playing. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 p.m. on a day of the murder. Ms. D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer himself had done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? You're smiling and I don't like it. Very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my scriptwriting staff. You deny what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She couldn't deal with it, I bet she could move it, or she had another way. She had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body other than with her own hands? For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Where's the van? Van! Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used a van to carry this body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume.
Objection!
Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirer? Of course he was! Of course Sal Manella has to have been a conspirer. The body had to be placed in the van and put in the costume. There's no way Ms. Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the steel samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Yeah, I never examined this thing, but there is a small incinerator over at Studio 2 by the van, that bronze thing over there. I never examined it. That was my bad. Well, Ms. Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? What's going on? So, what happens next? Me? Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez? So it was you? You killed Jack Hammer. We're just going in awkward circles here, aren't we? Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, We just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle? You proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? She's not wrong. What, Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely that she did it, but, there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you have no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? You did, Vasquez. Testify again, Vasquez. Testify again. I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn! To come so far only to fail. As it seems there are no further questions, I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Ms. Vasquez. Miles? Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was hoping to come up with a question while I was... Jeez, I love his guy. I love this guy. Oh, never mind, there he is. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, aren't you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see a little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, Indeed, verily, I say. Ergo, I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter.
Nick! Why did Edgeworth...
Who knows? He probably realized she did it too.
But... Wasn't he the one that says he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that...
Edgeworth. He's helping us out here, and I, for one, am going to take it and appreciate it. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. Excuse me? I see new issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick.
Right. See, Maya's got some good analogies here. Maya's got good analogies. For some reason, Nick's analogies always end up coming out the wrong way. Okay, but there is something that I do want to press. Which one was it? The script and direction notes. Weren't you missing the script, though? The script and your direction notes? Weren't you missing the script? You literally asked us to go find the episode 13 script for you. Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Press harder. Press harder, buddy. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and your note? Oh, that's true. Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Very well. Ms. Vasquez, please continue.
Objection!
Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Mrs. Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One. Edgeworth, did you just do my job? Order! Order! Mr. Edgeworth, what you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Ms. Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense? What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left him behind. Hammer wasn't the one who was injured, though. It was Powers.
Objection!
You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo, but that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending. One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you heard Mr. Manella wrong, or you saw Hammer limping? You saw Hammer limping. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. And when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in the Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order, order! I will have order! Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there was a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on this matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? Of course I can prove it, or of course I can't prove it. I can? I think I know where this is going. I do know where this is going. Yes, I know exactly where this is going. Okay, cool. Okay, I present to the court as evidence as to Ms. Vasquez's motive in this murder. The 5-year-old photo. Okay, I know exactly where this is going. This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Ms. Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial, it began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. She had no motive. She had no motive, Your Honor. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs, in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. And for some reason, the Steel Samurai music started playing as soon as I said that. What? What? Your Honor, Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into a dressing room and stole a Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill D. Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him over all those years. Oof. You've got to have some strength to snap that in half, buddy. So, you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I'm guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance! There's blood everywhere! We're too late! Ah, Miss Vasquez! What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel! Miss Vasquez, please, try to remain calm. No, how could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No! Okay, yeah, so we're just going through... So this is the incident from 5 years ago when Hammer shoved this guy Manuel off the stairs and he got pierced by that fence. And apparently Vasquez cared a lot about Manuel. Or Manuel, whatever. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose. Again. Yeah, apparently she cared a lot about the guy, Manuel. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Miss D. Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor, as calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? It appears you have brought about yet another miracle. Thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found so was only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty. Let's go! We got our not guilty verdict. So yeah, 5 years ago, Jack Hammer shoved Manuel off the stairs, and he got punctured by that fence post. And then the paparazzi caught the moment as it happened, took a picture of it, but then was mugged by Wendy Oldbag, and, she got the photo, and then Vasquez, who has ties to the mafia, shut up the paparazzi, and eventually used that photo in order to blackmail, blackmail Hammer into doing small work for petty change.
And then, fast forward to modern day, Jack Powers has gotten so incredibly tired of Vasquez holding that power over him that he put sleeping pills in Powers' lunch, which, made him go to sleep. He stole the Steel Samurai costume, went over to Studio 2, tried to kill Vasquez, but Vasquez pushed him onto the fence and effectively killed him. And then Vasquez, using Salmonella and the van, took Hammer's body over to Studio 1, and they got there before everyone else because they were in a van and everybody else was walking. And they put Hammer into his evil magistrate costume, probably cut a hole in it too, so it actually looked like he got stabbed through that costume, and left the body there, and then showed up with everybody else when the body was found. And then everybody assumed Powers did it because because Hammer was in the evil magistrate costume, the samurai spear was right next to the body, and Powers was nowhere to be found. So, yeah. It's sad. I know now that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. I didn't read, the first few text boxes of this, so I'm like, what? It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez, but to think that he tried to frame me for the murder makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Huh? Tell me, why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? We have the evidence for it, don't we? There's evidence for it. Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because the path to glory is because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was Steel Samurai? Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting in a kid's show and as a villain to boot. The kids love the Steel Samurai, and so he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him anytime. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. So am I. So am I.
Congratulations, WP!
Oh. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don a Steel Samurai outfit once more. About that, I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Is something wrong?
No, of course not. Ah! Nick! Edgeworth!
Say something, Wright. I'm not good at small talk. Huh? What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gone away if you hadn't stepped in. Pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers.
Liar!
Right. I must say I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years.
Meet again?
However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I am saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Yes. Unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That is what I came here to tell you. Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend?
What? Friends? As if they're rivals! Rivals! Right, Nick?
For now we are, I guess.
Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick, tell me! What's the deal with you and Edgeworth?
And so, the curtain closed on another trial. I caused quite a stir by revealing that accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back into making kids shows again.
Nick! This is it! The new show starts today! You're going to watch it with me, right? I'll admit I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy the trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again? But isn't it Pink Princess? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers. No, especially if he's playing the Pink Princess. I don't think anybody would be ready for that. Whew. Alright. But that does indeed bring an end. Whoa. Bring an end to Turnabout Samurai. I'm gonna save right there. I'm gonna hope it doesn't go right into the next... It doesn't. Okay. So the next episode, or next chapter... Yeah, next episode, I guess, is called Turnabout Goodbyes. Now this... Oh, this case is by far one of my favorites. By far one of my favorite cases across all the entire Ace Attorney franchise. And I think a lot of people do agree with me. Like, a lot of people have a similar opinion regarding Turnabout Goodbyes. Like, it is... For me, it's one of my favorite cases. Because it... You know what? You'll see. You'll see. You'll see in the next episode when we begin Turnabout Goodbyes. But that is all for now. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!